That's a nice one. Give me a little handshake. Do you mind showing us like your personal setup?
I run a salmon bead on top.
This is the dog of good luck. Hi. First keeper crab of the day. One. Okay, I'm done. Let's go check the crab traps. I am joined today with Lawrence from Durasnare.
How are you guys doing?
Hey. And today we're at the beach crabbing, and hopefully someone who's had years of experience crabbing, who literally has a business on crab snaring, can teach us some new things. Let's get into it. Originally, I had planned on eating chicken for dinner, but then I ate like a superhuman amount of hot Takis. And so I figured, why not try these for Dungeness crab? And then my secret bait, this is fresh jack smelt. Well, it was fresh when I caught them. They've kind of just been chilling in my freezer for the last 5 months. It's like disintegrating. Oh. Yo, I'm glad it didn't just like snap off, because that would have been so embarrassing. But I guess it's nice if I'm fishing with the snare guy, huh?
All right.
I see you. That's a nice one.
It's a boy.
Yeah.
It looks small though. Maybe 5 and a half.
Bit.
Got him by both claws.
Yeah. It's greedy little boy.
5 and a half.
Dang. Give me a little handshake. So do you ever like switch bait even though you still have a bunch of squid in the cage itself, just for scent reasons?
Yeah, so usually I like a sandwiching, like anchovies on the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
I don't prefer to use just fish only products as bait, only because it disintegrates in the water a lot quicker than squid. So what I do is usually I sandwich the fish on the bottom and then squid on top.
Okay.
Generally, squid does very well. It's always been very, very consistent.
Yeah.
I found that Dungeness seem to eat squid or go after squid a lot more often. Red Rocks love chicken though.
Okay guys, quick update. The chicken is on the big rod, and the dead jack smelt that's been fresh for 5 months is on that small rod over there. Neither have gotten a single hit. It's been a long time. The squid though, on Lawrence's setups, he's right here behind me. They've been doing really well. A lot of times people say, oh, you want stinky bait, let it marinate, or use chicken. I don't know how true that is, because he's beating me really, really badly right now. This is the dog of good luck. Hi. Hello. But you smell me first. I recognize you. Hello. Every time I see this dog, I do really well. I shall name you Squishy, and you shall be my Squishy. All right, guys, if this next pull doesn't result in a crab, we gotta change things up. Oh, gosh. I either caught a whale or I'm snagged up on something. This is crazy. There you go. Come on up. Don't lose it, don't lose it.
Oh, is that a red?
That's a red rock. Look at that.
So that's what you were snagged on.
Yeah, I was like, did I catch a whale? What's going on? Look, he's trying to give me a handshake. First keeper crab of the day. Nice little red rock crab. And it was on the jack smelt too. Can't believe there's still scent in this thing. I think what happened was he probably dug himself into the sand with that snare snared on him. And so that's why I couldn't pull anything up.
I was like, I didn't think there were snags out there.
Yeah, it'd be my luck though.
Quick fix or refurbishing of the loops. What you can do is just massage the loop. So you just massage it back into shape. So this is just a quick fix, but the best way is actually to dump it in warm water or hot water after you're done. Let it soak for about 5 minutes, then massage the loops. Once it's nice and malleable, then shock it with cold water after. It should bounce back just like that. Also, once you're done with these snares, don't just dump it in a bucket. Always hang them, store them flat with the loops wide open. That way you preserve your loops a lot longer, and they'll stay a lot longer too, because if you dump it in a tackle box or a bucket after you're done, it's going to look terrible, and it's going to end up looking like this, and that's basically useless. This has been through a lot of use. I'll trade you.
Ooh, boy. How do you tell, is that a 6 or an 8?
This is an 8.
About to go catch another limit with this snare.
I hope so.
Hey, heck yes.
We're on the board.
Oh yeah, let's go.
Number 1, let's go.
Nice male.
Nice, yeah, nice and full too.
I see you.
Oh, it's a double female.
Too small.
Yeah, no wonder why it was so heavy.
I see you like putting in work over there. I was
Yeah,
like, dang. Welcome to Ask Lawrence, Mr. Durasnare. What got you into like making your own crab snares and then turning it from, you know, like a side hustle or a hobby into a business?
Yeah, so it all started when I was in high school. My dad would pick me up right after school and we would head straight down to Pacifica Pier. I knew nothing about crab snaring, but it was the hot thing back in 2004. And my God, I was hooked by the first time. So after that, I started buying a lot of crab snares. I had lost a lot of crab snares, as you guys know. It's very easy to snap, so I was snapping off. My bail would be closing. I was a rookie back then, but I loved every minute of it. Started learning from the OGs how to make it. And from there, I started making it for myself. Never thought about turning it into business until 2023.
That's the dream, right? Work hard and turn your hobby into a job, so now you always get to fish and crab. Huh?
Oh yeah, I never thought I would see the day, but what really didn't sit right with me was that people who used crab snares before, they know that if you go to a box retailer store, there wasn't good quality snares back then. A lot of them would come with loops that would look like bird's nests or not even work half the time. We came out with something that would address those problems. Properly weighted, cast all the weight into the snare, loops that actually stay open and actually catch crab, because when people go out and go crab, they spend a lot of money, they spend a lot of time. So we don't want people to be disappointed. So that's the reason why we created Durasnare, to be available to anyone to purchase.
Do you mind showing us like your personal setup? If someone was starting off crab snaring, like what kind of setup would you advise them to get that A, won't break the bank, but B, will like give them many, many hours of crabbing before maybe they're looking to upgrade, you know?
Yeah. So my go-to is going to be the Daiwa beef stick. The Daiwa beef stick is a very, very popular crab snaring rod. It's extremely inexpensive. They go for about $65 to about the $75. Right here, I'm running a 11-foot extra heavy action with 80-pound braided line. I like running 80-pound braid because it doesn't stretch, and it's very resilient, and I don't have to worry about it snapping. It's so good that I was able to pull off a sea anemone off the rocks with my crab snare without it snapping. Rely on good knots and good line, and it'll take care of you. In addition to that, I am running a Penn 650 SSM. It is full metal. When you go cheap on the reel, what tends to break first is going to be the foot of the reel, especially when it's plastic. When you wobble when reeling in, it breaks at the foot. The handles typically break, or the gears start stripping, because what we're doing out here, we're reeling in a lot of dead weight. The snares are already 12 ounces, not including the crab, and not even considering the waves and the currents that you're fighting. So it's taking on a lot of torque. So you want to be sure you get a nice heavy duty full metal reel. When running snap swivels, I always recommend people to run the snap swivels that look like this. The one with the shank that coast over. Don't use the eagle claw ones or the cheap clothespin looking ones, because they will open up on you. These are the ones with the shank and they coast over just like this. These are very, very reliable. 100 to 125 pound rating should do it. I run a salmon bead on top, only because I run guided trips and we get a lot of new fishermen. So what this salmon bead does is that it actually prevents the swivel from going all the way up to the rod tip and damaging my rod tip. So very cheap, inexpensive way. Also, when you're done, I can just reel all the way up. Now I don't have to worry about it dangling around, and it's perfectly straight and it won't tangle with anything else.
Because you're right, like a lot of people first starting out, they're gonna keep reeling and you're gonna hear the
They
crack.
get excited.
And
Yeah,
you're like,
exactly.
"Oh."
So, I mean, a lot of people, they get so excited, they see that crab at the end of the rod,
Yeah.
and they're just reeling up as far as they can, and they got the crab all the way up to the top of the rod. I'm like, how are you gonna reach that? So, yeah.
Cool.
So.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea. All right, everyone, that is it for this video. I caught a red rock crab, and well, you got 2 keepers, right?
2 keeper male Dungeness.
2 male Dungeness keepers. That's a very good haul. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Until then, tight lines.
Tight lines, guys.
Yeah,
Thanks for watching.
peace out.